started with the feud between Kelly Clarkson and her former mentor, Clive Davis. Their smackdown erupted yesterday when the pop superstar defended herself against claims made in Clive Davis's new memoir. The music executive said Clarkson sobbed hysterically during a heated discussion about the hit song, Since You've Been Gone. Kelly claims she wrote down over a different song, saying, quote, "I cried after I played him a song I had written about my life called Because of You. He hated it and told me verbatim that I was a bleepy writer who should be grateful for the gifts that he bestows upon me." Kelly says she doesn't care how big and powerful he is. She refused to be bullied, and she wants to set the record straight. Davis says he stands by what he wrote and that the book was fact-checked by 5 people who were there.
You know, I'm actually, we talk a lot about, you know, sometimes you don't want to respond when someone says something terrible about you because you kind of give them shine that they don't deserve. But if people remember when this all happened, this was a breakup. You know, Kelly had been working with Clive for a long time. They actually broke up over this album. It was like a divorce. And I think it's hard when someone writes something in a book about you and it feels hurtful and it feels like it's not what really happened, not to respond. And I'm really proud of her because I feel like she was, you know, young artists are often, they feel manipulated or bullied by older people in the business. They're told what to do. They're forced to maybe go on a path that they don't want. She said that. They were pushing me in a direction I didn't want to go in. She's had an incredible amount of success since then on her own. And I feel like she wanted to stand up for herself against a very, very powerful man. Sometimes you have an artistic collaboration, it works, then it stops working. And I think it's unfortunate because it feels like he did beat up on her a little bit in the book, and she's entitled to stand up for herself. And I'm proud that she did.
I generally don't address things that I think aren't true that are out there, but this one I kind of understood because it was work related. So I think she felt like she needed to say what her voice was around her career. So that made sense. And the other thing I liked that sort of made me respect her was that she was talking about how now that the great thing about getting older is she doesn't feel she needs to cower to anybody, even Clive Davis. And I thought, oh, it's kind of great for a woman, forget about the situation, who's right, who's wrong, but women, especially one that's coming up like that, that's really young, you feel like you've got to do everything to impress everybody, say the right thing, and how awesome to just become a woman that's in her power that says, no, this is what happened, and I'm going to stand behind it.
Well, listen, I mean, Clive, come on, man. I mean, that's uncool to share that somebody got that emotional over something that personal. That's not for everybody to hear. I mean, how many times have we, you know, in a personal moment, that's just embarrassing, you know, and I don't think that's a cool thing to do. I remember when I was playing football way back when, I was a defensive back, and I went to the head coach because I got demoted after the first couple of games. There was nothing wrong. I was playing great. And I asked him why, and we got into a little bit of a thing. I was a small guy back then, and he said, "Were you always the little guy?" And I said, "Yeah." And I got emotional. Well, he went and told everybody. Oh. And, you know, I think Clive could have just said, you know, she wasn't that strong of a writer, and she proved me wrong, you know. But then again, there's been things said about me, maybe on the web or elsewhere. And, man, I think when you start getting into a back and forth, you acknowledge it. And I just take the high road. I'm like, if you ignore it, it didn't happen. Like,
but you know what? See, y'all, now that you have done that and said you got to take the high road, I would like to set the record straight that I'm really only 125 pounds. Because of HDTV. I feel so good right now.
Thank you for setting the record straight. Well, listen to this. When it